Hi, sixth graders. So today we are going to be looking at writing of our algebraic expressions or writing expressions with variables. So before we start, let's take a look at this chart up at the top. So remember that when we're talking about addition, our answer is called a sum. And if we wrote it numerically, we would have something like 3 plus 2, or the sum of 3 and 2. With the variable, we might see 6 plus x. Subtraction, and subtraction is a little bit tricky, so we'll have to make sure we're really paying attention to this one. Subtraction is a difference, 18 minus 6, 14 minus a. Multiplication, remember, is called a product. The answer is a product. So the product of 4 and 5, or the product of 9 and c. Remember, when we are working with variables, we don't use the multiplication symbol. We just put the number directly next to the variable. And for division, we call the answer the quotient. So 16 divided by 4, 18 divided by z. So let's take a look at a couple of these examples. So first we have, what is the sum of a and 8? So sum tells us that we're going to be adding. And the sum of a and 8, be a plus 8. Number 2, we have the product of y and 10. So remember that when we are working with variables, we don't use the multiplication symbol, we just put the number right next to the variable. 10y, or 10 times y. Now remember I said that subtraction is a little bit tricky. So what do you get when you subtract 9 from b? So if we really look at that sentence, we know that we're starting with b and subtracting 9 from it. So b minus 9. So we have to really pay attention to the wording. Number 4, what is c divided by 22? We could have c over 22 and make it a fraction, or we can say c divided by 22. What is 12 decreased by p? So that tells us we start with 12 and we decrease or subtract p. Let's look at the next set of examples. We'll do a couple from here and we'll look at the 2 word problems. So c multiplied by 5. Remember, we don't write 5 times c because that looks like 5xc when we're working with variables. We just put our c, or our variable, directly next to the number. We look at number 7, 10 larger than y. 10 larger than means that we have to add y, 10 plus y. And again, subtraction is a little bit tricky, so we have to really pay attention to the wording. 9 less than e. So we have e minus 9 would give us 9 less than e. Now remember that e minus 9 is not the same expression as 9 minus e. Remember that with division and with subtraction, order matters. Matters what order we put our numbers in. And number 9, triple r. So triple we know means 3, or 3 times r. So triple r would just be 3 times r, or 3r. P divided by 4. So we can say P divided by 4 and use the division symbol, or we could make it into a fraction, P over 4. Number 11, quadruple F. So quadruple, quad means 4, and to quadruple something means to times it by 4. So quadruple F would be 4 times F, or 4F. And let's look at these word problems. Number 12, there are X students trying out for a solo in a chorus concert. Only 6 will be chosen. How many students will not be chosen? So to find out how many students will not be chosen, we have to set up our expression. So we have X number of students trying out for a solo, and only 6 are going to be chosen. So we have to do X minus 6. Find out how many will not be chosen. And number 13, there are Y students who volunteered to pull weeds in the school garden. The principal said she wishes she had 3 times as many volunteers. How many volunteers would the principal like to have? So we have Y students who are volunteering to pull weeds. Now, one thing to remember is that we always put the number first when we're talking about multiplication with variables. We wouldn't say Y3, we'd always say 3Y. We know that triple means 3 times. So the number of volunteers that the principal would like to have, we could find using the expression 3Y, or 3 times Y. All right, 6th graders, I know that this can be a little bit tricky, so please let me know if you have any questions. Have a fantastic rest of your day.